All right, so Brendan Schaub is not too happy with the comments that Joe Rogan made about him a week or two ago. If you remember, Joe said that Brendan needed a handler.
Wrong about the theory. Look, Brendan's my boy, but he needs a handler. Yeah. He needs someone like me around him all the time. What are you going to do? No. Yeah. Here's why. Yeah. And he'll go, yeah, you're right.
So on one of Brendan's recent podcasts, he really went after Joe and Dana White. It was mostly Dana. It's weird because he brings up how someone said he needs a handler, and then he just starts going after Dana like he's the one that said it, because he probably realized if he upsets Joe, things will not end well. And he already upset him earlier this year with all the Bobby Lee stuff. And if he burned a bridge with Joe Rogan, I think that would be it. But Brendan trying his best to leave Joe out of this right here, I don't think that helps at all, because I think Joe gets more upset when Brendan trashes the UFC. Like, if he just went after Joe here, I think Joe would kind of understand. I mean, he just said he needs a handler. I don't think he takes it that seriously. But I think when Brendan goes after the UFC and talks about how it's the worst organization ever, I think that's what really upsets Joe. And I mean, that's what Joe responded to last week. That's why he said Brendan needed a handler. So let's get into the video and see what Brendan had to say. And it's funny because this video actually starts with Brendan's handler. See, Joe doesn't realize that Brendan has one already, but he's just not a good handler. He needs a better one. But it starts with Mark, or BGL. He's like doing this evil laugh in the beginning, and he does it way too long. This is just so cringy right here. But I think this is some of Brendan's best work. And by the end of it, he's really pissed off. Like, it seems like he's actually angry at Dana at least. And it sounds like Joe too, but he's just nervous about saying it.
Brendan needs a handler. Do I? Or does your boy need a handler? I'm not the one playing grab ass with Mark Zuckerberg, letting him rent out Thick Boy Studios, shutting it down for his entertainment. Don't call him Zuck on your social media either. You don't know the guy. You know, oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg's into jiu-jitsu, man. This is crazy.
It's awesome listening to Brendan trash Dana White. It's so funny because everything he says can always just be applied back to him. Like, if he hung out with Mark Zuckerberg once, you know he'd be acting like they're best friends. If he, like, just passed him on the street, he'd be like, oh, yeah, me and Zuck, we're getting lunch today. I'm sure he'd love to be friends with him. And before this rant, he'd probably say he was. He'd probably be like, oh, you know, he was on Joe's podcast, so I know him, of course. But I like seeing Brendan do this. I mean, his beef with Dana is just classic. And now that he's even kind of going after Joe, too, this is awesome. Like, I couldn't ask for more. And you can tell that BGL loves it with that creepy laugh he's doing. He's definitely into the drama. I mean, he's trying to start some drama with Kalila again. Last week he made some Instagram post about her. If you haven't seen that, make sure you check out this video. It looks like it's possible that we see some more drama with Brendan and Kalila, even though I think Brendan likes to kind of avoid that. When things get like really personal, like that kind of stuff, I don't think Brendan likes to talk about it. But with the Dana White drama, he's fine with that because, I mean, they've been beefing for years. And it's basically just like two meatheads calling each other idiots. It's not that serious. But with Kalila, I think Brendan's scared of getting into anything with her. But BGL is trying to drag him into it. And I would like to see it go down again. That would be entertaining. But I just don't see Brendan wanting to get into that at all. Unless they have some like real dirt on Kalila that they want to expose. And they feel like she doesn't have any more dirt on Brendan, because maybe she does, but that's a whole nother topic. I think Brendan's focusing on the Dana White beef, and now it's kind of Dana White and Joe Rogan beef. I mean, if Brendan starts doing a back and forth with Joe, that'd be pretty wild. Like next week, Joe on his podcast is like, man, I heard Brendan Schaub said that I need a handler now. What is that guy talking about?
Yes, yes. And the fighters are just CT up the gills bleeding. Starbucks employees have more benefits. And Mark Zuckerberg was like, yes, kill. She's like, they're actually hitting each other. And then Mark Zuckerberg like, yes, babe, they're hitting each other. Some of them will die. She's like, they're going to die. He's like, hopefully, if it's up to me, they will die. I don't need a handler. These guys need a handler.
So I think he's also saying that Mark Zuckerberg needs a handler now. I think that is the greatest thing I've ever heard. This has to be some of Brendan's best material right here. He's taking shots at everybody. Joe Rogan, Mark Zuckerberg, and Dana White. It's like he just does not care anymore. I think after Theo left, he's like, screw it, I'm going to attack whoever I want. I mean, he's not really going after Joe too much, but trashing the UFC, I mean, that's pretty ballsy. I don't think Joe's going to be too happy about that, because that's what started this back and forth in the first place, and that's why Joe initially said Brendan needed a handler, and now Brendan's like basically doubling down on it. Maybe soon Joe's going to have to step in and take the reins as Brendan's handler and try to get him under control.
Again, I need a handler. They need a handler.
So I wonder if Joe's going to respond to this, because I was really surprised that he even responded to Brennan talking about the UFC conspiracy theory thing. So with this, I don't really know what to expect. I mean, I'm sure he's going to see it or hear about it, and I'm sure he's not going to be too happy. But I think he'll probably just talk to him in private, because he probably realized that Brennan's current handler isn't getting the job done, so he needs to step in for a second and get Brennan to calm down a little bit and have him stop talking about the UFC. And maybe Joe could give Brennan the kind of call that Brennan and Brian gave Bobby Lee. Joe could threaten Brennan's career and be like, dude, if you don't stop talking about the UFC, then I'm not having you on the podcast anymore. I'm sure that would shut him up, but I don't know. Let me know what you think he'll do. Let me know in the comments, and then make sure you hit the subscribe button to keep updated on all this, and then hit the like button, and then I'll catch you at the next video.